retrieving the long-term archival radiology images is so much faster on the Qumulo than it was on the Isilon, to the point that the radiologist actually noticed and asked after downtime what we had done. And I thought we messed something up and got real scared, because that's not the group you want to make mad.
Hey everyone, my name is Scott Gentry and I'm a technical product evangelist at Cumulo, and today I am at HIMSS, the largest information and management systems healthcare conference in the US. We're really excited to be here because we're going to be hanging out with our HPE partners, talk with customers about how our joint partnership is really radically simplifying PACS workflows for our customers and ultimately speeding patient services, because that's really what this is all about. We're also going to be speaking to a customer, Lexington Medical. They're going to be doing an interview for us on the show floor. It's a super interesting story, so let's go in and check it out. Retrieving imaging studies with minimal delay is so important to clinicians and their patients because seconds matter when getting to the bottom of a diagnosis. And the success of a radiologist user experience often translates to the success of the administrator, so they can direct their attention to more important tasks or even prioritize resources to other things entirely. And that also includes storage efficiency, overall cost effectiveness, but also a backing storage solution that can evolve with the times and support now and into the future cloud-based deployments, or something new altogether. Well, in this testimony by Lexington Medical Center, we'll hear a little bit about it all.
Zahir, why are we here?
We're here with our partner HPE at their booth, talking to them and our customers about how Qumulo and HPE help accelerate PACS workload and accelerate patient services at hospitals.
Awesome, thanks man. What's your name and title?
My name is Zahir Huleis. I am the Director of Technology and Cloud Alliances at Qumulo.
Hey Jason, how's it going? You ready for your interview later today?
Good, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Great, man. Thanks for coming out and supporting us. Could you introduce yourself and your full
Sure.
title?
I'm Jason Cherry. I'm the Director of IT Technology Services at Lexington Medical Center in Columbia, South Carolina.
All right. We're excited for this conversation. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Hi, and thank you guys for joining us here at the HPE booth. My name is Zahir Huleis. I'm the Director of Technology Alliances with Qumulo, and we are a software-defined storage file and data storage company. And we have a great partnership with HPE, and thank you to HPE for having us here. And we're honored to have Jason Cherry from Lexington Medical Center here at HIMSS to talk to us about his experience with Qumulo on the HPE platform. So thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Zahir, for having me, and thank you, HPE and Cumulo.
I'd love to get started off by introducing yourself a little bit and then telling us a little bit more about Lexington Medical.
Sure. My name is Jason Cherry. I'm the Director of IS Technology Services at Lexington Medical Center in West Columbia, South Carolina. Lexington Medical Center is going through rapid expansion right now, as many other hospital systems are. Our acquisition strategy is a little unique. We bring in practices and not hospitals, so we get a lot of kind of disparate EMR data that we need to account for. About 2 years ago, we just completed the largest hospital expansion in South Carolina history. That's going to be eclipsed soon, but it's just kind of a testament as to how much we're growing. So between that and the 5 urgent cares that we have with multiple imaging modalities, storage is a huge concern for us.
Thank you. And how did you first get started looking at Qumulo on the HPE platform?
One of my engineers actually brought it to me. We were looking to get rid of the incumbent, Dell EMC. We were a heavy Isilon shop. We were trying to find a cost-effective solution. One of the engineers actually brought Qumulo to me, and we looked at the numbers and it did the math, and it really worked out well.
And if you could talk us a little bit about that selection criteria as you're looking, new vendor on a different platform. What was the selection criteria and what got you comfortable moving to the newer platform?
Yeah, it's a scary leap when the previous technology had been entrenched for a while, and I think first and foremost, the level of support that we got from Qumulo was just absolutely fantastic, very hands-on. They were there every step of the way. We did a POC. The performance just blew the engineers away. We put a couple test workloads on there, and the performance was much better. Everybody kind of noticed that. That helped ease the technology fears, and then bringing the cost factors to the CFO really kind of opened his eyes. We originally were looking to do kind of an OpEx model for this, but when he saw how well the solution worked and what the cost was, he opted to just buy it outright that year, unbudgeted. So he went to the board and got money. That's how much he believed in the technology and what we were kind of selling to him.
That's great. And so now you've had the system for I think 2 years now. What type of workloads do you have on it right now? Is it just medical imaging, or did you expand beyond that?
We're all over. So we've got, it's our long-term archival for PACS. One of the better success stories that we've had is our Epic blob storage. Epic customers are probably familiar. Blob does not really clean up well. It's kind of all over the place. But even moving from the Iceland to Cumulo was almost 4-to-1. It was amazing. We put that in front of the board as kind of justification. That was one of the workloads that we moved over first because it was so. We went back and double checked because it didn't seem real.
That's great. And we definitely see that with a number of customers in and outside of healthcare that move to Qumulo, and then people start noticing the difference. I know you guys had experience that. I would love to hear about like your experience both from kind of system administration of the system, how that's been, and also from the end user's perspective, the radiologists and the medical providers.
It's had a wonderful impact all across the organization, really. The biggest thing was one of our storage admins is retiring at the end of the year, and so we're starting to plan for that. And I was getting ready to backfill his position. One of the other engineers that all this work is going to fall on came to me and said, "We don't need to hire another storage person, not with the tools that Cumulo provides." And that was another thing that the team really enjoyed, was all the tools were included as part of the suite. There was no sticker shock, like we didn't get attached to a certain cool feature and fall in love with it and then get hit with a really massive bill. Administration of the hospital loved the cost effectiveness. We were able to have a cost avoidance of about 30 terabytes that we normally would have purchased. And so that translated to about 150 grand right off the bat with just the compression that we're seeing from moving over the existing workloads. And because the performance has been so well, they've definitely noticed. So retrieving the long-term archival radiology images is so much faster on the Cumulo than it was on the Iceland, to the point that the radiologist actually noticed and asked after downtime what we had done. And I thought we messed something up and got real scared, because that's not the group you want to make mad.
No, absolutely. In talking to a number of healthcare customers, the thing we really hear a lot about is that experience for the radiologists and healthcare providers, that they are able to get to their images a lot faster. The system moves more quickly, and they're able to get those archival images, and they don't know whether an image was taken earlier that day or like 4 years ago. They're able to get to it.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at other workloads too that normally, traditionally, we would have put on flash, and we think that we can get those moved to the Cumulo and still have the same level of performance that the customers are really expecting from us. And so it's really opened up a lot of opportunities for us.
And so would you mind talking a little bit about the VNA and the PACS applications that you're using and how they're connecting to the Cumulo?
Sure, so we've got Highland VNA and Fuji PACS, and they're both connecting to the Cumulo as kind of our long-term archival. So after the images age out, after about 2 weeks, they go off flash onto the Cumulo. But they do hit those studies a lot to pull up for reference for cases, and so they do like to go through and look through the different iterations. One of the other things that we do, our foundation invests a lot of money, or raised a lot of money, to convert all our mammography across the health district to 3D, and so that greatly increased the size of the images that we had to put on there, and Cumulo's handled that with no issue.
That's great, thank you for that. And then as you're looking into the future of what are the things you're going to be doing, you're planning for the next few years, how does that come into your decision making when you were purchasing a Qumulo HPE platform, when you were thinking long term about 5, 10, 15 years down the road? How did that play into the decision?
That was an absolutely huge selling point for us, because it was going to be a good jumping off point. It was good to get the Qumulo in to start, but the ability to kind of be able to go out to the cloud when we needed it is going to be really important going forward. We're very concerned about business continuity and disaster recovery, as I think most healthcare organizations are, and having some of that flexibility with Qumulo really helps us kind of plan for that. And we're going to be using it as a target for our new backup and recovery infrastructure as well, because it's much more cost effective.
That's great. One kind of part of business continuity, or part of that, is like the kind of support that you get. I'd love to hear some of your impressions or your experience of the support you got from HPE and Qumulo so far.
So I will leave it to the guy that's retiring. Slack was a little new to him, and he was a little leery of it to begin with, but he loves it now. He loves being able to hit the Slack channels and get the support right away. when I reach out to folks, they're always responding. We're in the middle of helping our security team analyze another tool to kind of look at the files on the Cumulo to make sure they're being scanned properly for any ransomware threats. And the entire support team at Cumulo has just been so quick with a response.
It's awesome. Thank you for that. These are all the questions I had. Love to open up for people if they have any questions for Jason.
How was your migration experience off of Iceland? I used to hear stories even migrating within Iceland.
Yeah.
Was a nightmare. Was that a good transition from off of Iceland onto Cumulo?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. So the question was about the migration from Iceland to Cumulo. That was also a major selling point for us as well. Got tired of doing the forklift upgrades with the Iceland platforms. Even within the same family, if it was a different gen, it was a problem. And we were getting to the point where a lot of the PACS archival was getting so big, the downtimes to do those migrations was extremely impactful to the radiology practices.
So it was easy to go from Iceland to Cumulo?
Yeah. A lot of good tools to compare once it got over to make sure that we had the same file size, that we were indeed copying over what we needed to do. And it's been huge for us. Our ED is probably the second or third busiest in the state. And so really when we do our after hours downtimes, when the radiology stuff's not available, that really impacts their ability to do their job.
Piggybacking off that question, how's been your kind of software upgrade process with Cumulo so far?
I don't even know what they're going on. The guys tell me. They fill out change control, that's about it. And that's another benefit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's one of the selling advantages, or like great advantages of Cumulo, especially for healthcare, is that the upgrade process and of the new version happens very quickly. That there really is no downtime to take.
Yeah.
Do your engineers have to go through a lot of training to be able to administer it? Is it complicated? Is it simple?
It's the engineers did not have to go through a lot of training. Qumulo was great about at the elbow support and kind of transitioning that off. And they honestly love it. They love the reporting they get out of there. That was another pitfall with kind of our previous storage solution. We had to purchase a third-party tool to do some of the dumpster diving, as the resource liked to call it when he was looking for older files and things of that nature. And it all just came out of the box with Cumulo. So that was really amazing.
Understanding of the process is just adding a node and you can roll it in without much impact.
Yep, pretty straightforward. And one of the nice things is that we don't have to do a whole shelf at a time. We can kind of grow as we need to grow. So that was a major selling point for us as well. We weren't kind of locked into buying large terabyte chunks at a time.
And so right now, all of your workloads are on Cumulo or on one Cumulo cluster, and you're not seeing performance degradation from the multiple workloads.
No, not at all. It's handled everything like a champ, and that thing doesn't even break a sweat. The question was, what is the monitoring like? It's very in-depth. It's really good. The guys love it. They were able to configure all the alerts and things that they wanted to see, as far as if they were getting a little full in certain areas, so they could go knock on doors and send kindly worded emails with my name attached to them, just to get people to be a little bit more cognizant of how they're using their storage. It's very configurable, and it's really easy to set up.
Kind of piggybacking on the monitoring question, how did you get comfortable with the cloud-based monitoring that we offer? Being a hospital, and you have a lot of access security around data, patient data, and then how was that process for you to get comfortable with the cloud-based monitoring that we offer?
So we go through a technical assessment process when any new technology comes in, and our security team sits at the table with my team and a bunch of other folks, and we kind of sit through and we have a questionnaire that we fill out, and just working with the team, all the security documentation that anybody could ever want was there right away. I mean, it was probably one of the easier tech assessments to go through. Had the SOC 2 for the security team, saw all the layers of security in place, and really kind of being almost cloud first. That really came through in the presentation, and working with the Cumulo team, is that understanding the importance of healthcare data and protecting that in the cloud. And so that really kind of shone through in the tech assessment, and other people picked up on that as well.
And one question is, like, how often is your team utilizing those resources? How often are they going to look at capacity and performance profiling for certain workloads or for future planning?
Well, the one guy looks at them every day, just because I don't think he can sleep without it, but it really kind of runs itself. The other admin, I think, has a lot of that reporting automated, so he does maybe once a week. We don't have a lot of workloads on there now that run out of control, so it really, that kind of really helped drive we don't need to replace the engineer that's retiring. Is the day-to-day is very, very minimal.
You're making the case to the CFO. What kind of savings were you looking at over the life of the, of a 5-year period?
They were pretty substantial, to the point that he was just ready to buy it outright, unbudgeted, which was saying something, because it was a significant purchase. And then right away with moving, I think we moved 4 or 5 workloads over immediately. We saved about $150,000 right off the bat. Cost avoidance, so depending on how you want to account for that. But that was a really...
We'll take it.
Yeah, that was a great number.
Credit.
That was a great number.
Yeah.
It made the CFO, I think there was a little tear when we showed that. But that was a good point. We charted out those 4 or 5 workloads, the kind of the before and after, and that's where we started to really see the 4-to-1. I am skeptical. I don't always believe every marketing material that I see in front of me, so it's kind of show me, and it definitely showed us. And we put that graph in front of senior leadership, showing, hey, this was the workload before. Here's what it is on the Cumulo, and there's a huge delta in between. And of course, they were skeptical and said, "How do you test? How do you validate?" And we kind of went through that migration process and talked them through and said, "Yeah, we check, double check, triple check. It's all there."
That's good. Just you also have, I want to point out, you have 2 clusters, one for production and one for DR. And so how has the replication and the DR process been? And also I'd love to hear a little bit more of how you test that DR service, so that to make sure you're always ready in case something does happen.
It's been great. We're in a little bit of a transitional stage with our DR environment. It's a little too close to the main hospital right now. We'll be moving to a colo, so the Cumulo will be going with that. Looking forward to it. DR again has kind of been lights out for the most part. The biggest thing that we've tested DR-wise is the Epic Blob storage, just as part of our kind of Epic honor roll work, and it's worked like a champ.
It's great to hear. There is nothing else. I want to thank you, Jason,
Thank you
again
so
for
much.
joining us, and I want to thank HPE for hosting us today
Thank you.
and providing us with great platforms for our software to run on. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.